What's happening, guys? So, as promised, I'm going to do my lineup. I want to talk a little bit more about how I like to do DraftKings. I don't play FanDuel. I play them every once in a while, but not that often. Make sure that I got this going on here. Okay, I like to do single entries. So I do big money single entries, big money, I say. For instance, like today, we're going to talk about a $200 entry on one of my lineups. So I looked at the information board not too long ago, day before yesterday, and we've had 100% males. So we got a bunch of dudes over here, no females, which is fine. They don't want to watch, that's fine, whatever. So I want to talk about the lineup that I chose last week, the lineup I'm putting in this week, and the players that I had in and out. You know how you do a lineup. It's hard when you do a single entry lineup. You really have to pay attention. You have to understand what's going to happen because you only get one shot. I do single entries, 150, 200, even 300. I don't really go any higher than that. But I did not play Adams. We all heard about him. He scored 44 points. Thompson, he's doubtful for next week. So I would stay away from Thompson. I was in and out of playing Hopkins. Hopkins was only $6,800, guys. $6,800. He scored 32 points. You'll never see Hopkins that low again. That's why I was like, man, I like Hopkins and I like Thielen. I played Hill. You see, I got pushed into playing Hill because it was a Thursday night game. You can't think like that, even though I'm doing that this week too. I should have played Thielen or Hopkins. Thielen scored 34 points. All right. And then he scored 34 points. He was 6,700. You'll never see Thielen that low again. That's what's good about the first games is these players, you can get them for super cheap. You're not going to get them for cheap like that anymore. We're going to talk about my lineup. This week's lineup. I know some people are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm saying it anyway. I wish there's a way we could promote this other than the sports channel. So my lineup, we're going to start with my quarterback. Don't hate. 17 points last week. Had a touchdown called back. Solid Joe Burrows. He is 5,900. Mark my words, after this week, you'll never see him that low. I think that it's prime time. I think that he has a solid relationship with Green, and I think that's going to happen Thursday. I might be getting suckered into the Thursday night game again, but I like to do the long slates. I like to do one game in the long slate, let that ride, and then, play the Sunday night game. I just like to play this because I like to watch the games. So I have Joe Burrows at 5,900. He looked good. I don't know if some of you watched the game. He was throwing good. He was on point. He had one interception. He just looked really good. And he scored 17 points, 193 yards, one touchdown. That ain't that impressive. But what I knew was going to happen was 8 attempts for 46 yards running and a touchdown. Wait till he gets his bearings and he's going to be throwing. He looked good throwing the ball. He was accurate. Who's watching? We got one person watching. Tell me who this is so I can talk to you. That's how it is. If I don't go live on anything else, we get very few people watching here, but I'm going to hit a big one. I'm going to hit a big one, and I'm going to tell you, I told you so. Last week, I did not hit. I hit in basketball, which we don't talk about. I hit, while the players going off, first place in a tournament twice, and I was first place in a tournament 3 times, almost week back to back, 3 times first place in a tournament. But then they took a point from me after the game was over. I went to second. So I had 2 first and a second in tournaments. Tournament play. That's what I play, and I played big money with that. It wasn't that many people involved, but I won $700 a piece. Tell me if that's chump change. Who's here? I got one person. All right, these are my running backs. Do I play Boyd, Brown? Look, you have Boyd, Brown, John Brown. Is John Brown hurt? Let me see. Oh no, he's questionable. So they're playing Miami. He's questionable. I don't see that being the John Brown play being that intense, because I don't know if they're going to have that much trouble. Actually, I have Miami's defense. They just stopped the guy, I don't know. Let's see. Boyd. The thing with Boyd was really late in the game to get acclimated with Joe Burrows, but he did start picking up the pace. I think that I like Boyd this week, but I like Hollywood Brown. I mean, that's a good one. I would choose either Hollywood Brown or Boyd. I would have to go. My personal preference is Boyd, only because they're playing Cincinnati, and I think this is prime time for Joe Burrows. I'm hoping personally that Boyd doesn't go off, which it's strong possibility, because Joe Burrows looks like he has really good contact with Green. So, and he threw to his tight end like 5 times for like 50 yards. So he even got close to 10 points, and he was like 3,400 or something. So, yeah, Thursday night game, today you get to watch your player. I like Boyd. Boyd's upside is 30 points. Just saying. I don't care what anybody says, but those players, they're all good upside guys. So my running back, I have 2 studs, because, man, I watched the game with Henry, and they did not leave that guy alone. That guy is going to have arthritis in his knees very soon. Henry had 31 attempts, 3 receptions. He had 34 times that the offense focused on him alone. 34 times, 31 attempts. I faded him because I was like, I think they're going to stop him. I do. And they did. They stopped him. But 31 attempts, 116 yards, 0 touchdowns running, 0 touchdowns passing. They run him so much, you cannot not play him. You cannot not play him. Like, it's not, and it's, yes, he's a monster, but if you ran Elliott 31 times, if you run Fournette 31 times, just nonstop, they're going to get 100 yards. They're gonna break off one for 20 somewhere along the line. Then they're gonna hit 3 here, 5 here, 1. 31 times. Man, he it's like I feel sorry for the guy because I'm telling you, you're going to see him in crutches 10 years from now. But this is fantasy football. I'm playing him. Jacksonville. Henry is playing against the worst defense in football, in my opinion. Not only my opinion, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, they're bad. Henry, that they ran 31 times. They passed 3 times. He is going to rush for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Coming, compared to what he did last week against Denver, which Denver doesn't have that bad. I know they have some hurt players, but they don't have that bad of a defense. I liked that play. I liked the play to stop Henry against Denver, and it almost happened, man. I was in 7th place in a tournament, 7th in like a 300-something people tournament, and it was like looking really good for first place with a lot of good stuff left because I faded Henry because everybody played Henry, and then they ran him and ran him and ran him and ran him. I was like, he's going to get 100 yards because if he gets 100 yards, he gets 3 points. I lose. I don't have him. It's 3 points. That's a lot when you get into the end of the game. Went to 7th place. They wouldn't stop running this guy. I'm like, he's getting 100 yards. I mean, I knew they was going to stop him, and they did. He got 3 point something yards a carry. They were stopping him, and even the commentary was like, it's not looking good, but it is like a very strange 100-yard game because he wasn't looking like crap. Anyway, he gets to 100. I went from 7th to 17th. I still cashed, but I was looking at from 7th to 1st, and it was like, a couple of $1,000 to first place. I knew they was going to stop him. You can't stop any of these great running backs if you run them 31 times. It's not going to happen. Just like my next running back, Elliott. Now, I go over and over and over and over. Last week, I'll tell you what I had. Last week, I did not cash. I will. Not last week. But you guys know, or John, you're my only viewer, believe it or not. I like Mahomes a lot. He scored 3 touchdowns. He didn't get pushed. Houston didn't push him. I should have known that. I mean, why would he score 5 touchdowns? Houston ain't going to score. They scored 20. It was 34-20. A surprise, Eckler against Cincinnati's. Surprising. Cincinnati only let him score 16 points. Let me see I can't get to it. So I had Johnson, which Johnson's going to be a beast this year for Houston. He scored 19 points. Hill, yes, this is the game he don't score 40, but I guarantee you know that's going to happen soon. So Hill scored 15. Sims, keep an eye on Sims Jr. Keep an eye on him for Washington. He scored 8 points. Ward, I wouldn't keep an eye on him, but right now everybody's hurt, so he scored 8 points. Kelsey, of course, 18 points, 17 points. And then Uzma for the tight end for Cincinnati. Surprisingly, I wasn't sure about him, but I'm seeing that Burrows is going to throw to him. He scored 8 points. Jacksonville's really bad. Yeah, so Jacksonville, I don't know what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to get the number 1 pick. So I had after the Thursday night game, I had 20 points, 19 points, 15 points, and 17 points. I mean, it's not a tournament win, but it's definitely a close to cashing win. I thought maybe I'd cash. The rest of my players didn't even go double digits. So I forgot about that game. I already had my Sunday night bets, Sunday day bets, and all that going on. I knew that was over when I was watching the players. So my next running back, I have Burrows, my quarterback. I'm just going to go. I know I went to Henry, but I'm going to go from Burrows to. I do game theory to where it makes sense. If you're trying to win a tournament, almost always you need to match the quarterback with the wide receiver. It's game theory. Also, you can do that same game theory with a running back. Let's say you go with Henry, which I'm going with this week, but I'm not going with his defense. They're too expensive. Let's say you go with Henry. You go with Henry in the running back spot. Then you put that defense. Because if you think that Henry's going to control the game running the ball 31 times, it's going to be a lower scoring game. So you can have an opportunity, even if it's a bad defense, you can get, 2 sacks, maybe a turnover. That's 4 points. And then they only score a couple of touchdowns. Then it's your odds are better that way. So if I was going to do game theory with my running back, I would go Henry and Henry's defense because they're going to control the game. So right now I'm going with Burrows, the quarterback from Cincinnati, LSU bred. He's not LSU. He's not from LSU, but yes, I think Ohio State or something. And Green. I wasn't sure about Green, but he looked really good. He looked healthy. They have a great connection. I think Boyd's, that's the thing. It's like, this guy's good. You got to realize. I know I'm an LSU guy, and that's why probably you guys think I like LSU, Burrows so much. But, man, I didn't do that for Jamarcus Russell. I knew he would suck. Burrows is a very smart, very accurate quarterback. And he has chemistry right now with Green, but that can change over. That's the thing that worries me, but it's good for you, John, because if he changes over to Boyd, it's Green or Boyd. Every once in a while, he may throw one down the field to Ross, too. That may happen. You never know if that's going to happen. So, Boyd, Green, and Henry. Game theory. Burrows. I'm sorry, not Boyd Green. Burrows and Green, my quarterback and wide receiver. Henry, and I'm going with Elliott. If I said that earlier. But Elliott had 22 attempts, not even close to Henry. 10 more attempts, and we're talking about Ezekiel Elliott. 10 more attempts for Henry. That's insane to me. I don't know. He had 22 attempts, 96 yards, almost 100. Didn't hit that 100, but he's going to hit it this week. 1 touchdown rushing, 3 yards with 31. He gets more. Right now he's averaging 10 yards a catch. So with 1 touchdown. 2 touchdowns, 37 points. Ezekiel Elliott at 8,200. Do you think Zeke is the best back right now? Do I think Zeke's the best back right now? At this point, I do, even though he didn't score the most. When you talk about McCaffrey, I'm going against Zeke in one of my fantasy football leagues against Zeke and McCaffrey. I'm okay with that. But in DraftKings, Zeke is 8,200 and McCaffrey is 10,000, which means that DraftKings thinks that McCaffrey's so much better because 10,000. He was 10,000 last week. Let me tell you, McCaffrey, 28 points. That's trash when you pay $10,000. 23 attempts, 98 yards, didn't hit 100, 2 touchdowns rushing. How they can't stop this kid, I don't know when it comes to rushing. Also, a little over 10 yards of carry receiving, 3 receptions. And but $10,000, he scored 28 points, and you did not get value at $10,000. I would not be happy. $10,000, 28 points. I just wouldn't. You can get 2 $5,000 players. You just need them both to score 15. You can figure that out. So yeah, McCaffrey, he's great, but I don't think he's doing it this week. I just don't think he's doing it. He's going to do it. I like Elliott better. Elliott's running. They're at home, which I don't know if that matters anymore. They're at home running again on Atlanta's defense, which again, not that good. Ranked the 27th worst defense in the NBA. So Henry's going against the 32nd worst Jacksonville defense in the NFL. NBA. You see, I get these all twisted. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, or you know what I'm talking about since we don't have John watching. I hope this one hits. If this one hits, I'm going to be like, you should have watched. You should have watched. I don't know if you play DraftKings, John, but you need to throw in a lineup or two. You can throw in a lineup for 25 cents. Like, it's fun. Like, literally 25 cents. You just set up an account. I think it's like $5 or something to set up. You get that $5. It's free to set it up. And you put, I think the lowest limit, I don't know what it is, but maybe $5. So we're going to go to my next receiver. The same game. When I'm doing game theory, I know it's a long slate, but I like to go with the same game and go with that. Because if I think that Burrows and Green's going to go off, that means they have to have another receiver from the other side, which is Cleveland, to go off. And, of course, that's going to be Odell Beckham, man. Odell Beckham is one of the best receivers in NFL. He is one of the best receivers in football. If he had Drew Brees, he would be unstoppable. If he had a quarterback like any great quarterback, look at his quarterbacks. He is not there. They threw to this guy 10 times. He has 3 receptions. And he's pissed because he didn't throw him the ball enough. He's pissed off on ESPN. Thinks he needs to get thrown to more. He needs to get thrown at more. He had 5 points. 5. I will try to suck my own toe if that boy doesn't. If he has 5 points every game, he will be so pissed because the guy's great. He's a great football player. I would be careful with Edwards too. I know you like Edwards. He did look good, but he couldn't run between the tackles. Not when it come down to the goal line. When Edwards is at the goal line, twice. First and goal at the 1. They ran him, stopped. Ran him, stopped. Second time, ran him, stopped. Ran him, stopped. Ran him, stopped. He can't run between the tackles unless they think that they have to double team Kelsey. They have to double team Hill. When they're at the goal line, he can't run between the tackles. When they know they ain't throwing to Hill and they running this guy, which was a terrible play call by the coach. I didn't know why they were doing that. I was like, they know you're going to run it. They're going to stop this little guy. I seen him grab him by the shirt and throw him down like that. Don't get hooked up on Edwards. He's a great player when it comes to spreading out the defense, dumping it down to him. When they worried about other people, he's amazing. When it's goal line or anything close, they stopped them twice. First and goal at the 1. Stopped him twice. He's paying attention to that. He's another LSU guy. So I'm definitely going to go with Beckham. He's $5,600 between 3. I got 3 players playing in the Thursday night game: $5,900, $5,600, and $6,100. So right around what $5,800 amongst the 3. I take those odds, man. I mean, 50. I don't have to score. If I scored what I did last week with these people, I'm gold, because then I have Elliott coming. I have Henry coming. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I like Beckham in this game. It's prime time. Yeah, I just like him. You cannot like him. He's 5 points. He's $50-something $100. What is he again? He's 5,600. He went down, I think. He was 5,900. He went down. Odell Beckham went down in price against not a good defense. 34. They looked okay, but 34th ranked defense in the NFL. Now this one is a little tricky. He's 4,900, and his name is Jerry Jeudy. You know him. You love him. Now, if Sutton is out, even if Sutton isn't out, I'm thinking about this. Jeudy was one of the best receivers, got awards for the best receiver in football. He missed his senior year. He missed, his senior year, his last year in college. He missed 7 catches that hit his hands. 7. He missed 2 last game. Man, when I was watching this kid run, I did not have him. I faded him. When I was watching him run routes, and I was watching him, one was he was running across the middle. He already ran 20 yards, right in his hands. He was running another 20 if he catches it. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy, he's going to kill me. I thought that he was going to be, he reminded me of Schuster when he was behind Brown and stuff like that. I was like, this guy, he's going to go off. So I was worried the entire game about this guy because I seen his talent. I seen him in college, but he looked good out there. He's 4,900. He did not had a good game, and he still got 10 points, right around 10 points. He was 4,200 last week, caught 4 receptions for 46 yards, 8 targets. If Sutton doesn't play, 4,900, I'm playing him, man. He's a rookie. He's super talented, super talented. Do you think he's done at Cleveland? I don't know. I think so, though. I mean, I do. I kind of think that he doesn't want to be there, but this is prime time. So he needs to do something. He wants to leave. They're just so bad. And it's crazy because he's so good. You tell me he's going to score 5 points again? I think you're crazy. He's 5,600. He scores me 15 points. I'm okay. 15 points, 1 touchdown, 5 catches. He's getting over 100 yards Thursday night. Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, next game, my tight end, I'll have Hunter Henry, and that's because they play Kansas City. I think that the Chargers, Kansas City's defense is ranked 25th best defense, worst defense in the NFL. So Henry last week got 5 receptions, 8 targets, 73 yards, no touchdowns, 12 points. You think they're going to have to throw against Kansas City? You think that's going to happen? I'm going to throw this guy in there, Mike Williams. I have Mike Williams in there with him. Mike Williams only 4,200 for some reason. He's only 4,200. He had 9 targets, 4 receptions for 69 yards. He was 4,700 last week. Now he's 4,200. He had 9 targets, and you're going to drop him? He scored 11 points. You're going to drop him to 4,200? I'll take it. I'll take him. So, especially playing against Kansas City, especially playing against a team that you're going to have to throw the ball. So, that's all I got there. And so I like because they play in Kansas City at 4:30. I like Hunter Henry and I like Mike Williams. So that's my team: Burrows, Elliott, Henry, Beckham, Green, Jeudy, Hunter Henry, and Mike Williams. My defense, I go super low always on my defense. I try to hope. I roll the dice. I got 4 points last time with Miami. Miami's playing Buffalo. Not that good. Yes, they can run the ball. Hey, the quarterback can run the ball. You stop him, they may get a couple of interceptions. So I'm going with Miami again at 2,100, very, very low. I got 4 points last time. Wasn't that upset with 4 points. I picked the worst defense, and I picked a bad defense. I don't think they have that bad of a defense. They had 2 sacks and a turnover, got me 4 points. So that's all. That's it, guys. That's all I got. I mean, John, that's all that watched this entire time. Let me know how you do. But he's from Oklahoma. He's from Ohio. Okay, yeah, I knew that Ohio State dropped the ball on him, and I do think Zeke is the best running back at this point in football. Because I mean, you can't really judge with Henry. Henry just gets so much volume. That coach does not care about his health, and that is positive for you fantasy football people out there, because that means they will run him down until he dies. But for his own personal health, it's not good. We've seen what happened to Earl Campbell. He's in a wheelchair right now. I seen him about 10 years ago, 6 years ago, rolling around in a wheelchair right there in the Houston Convention Center. That's where you're going to see Derrick Henry. All right, man. I appreciate you watching. And you that check this out later, tell me what you think. If you think that's a good lineup, one day I'm going to hit it. One day I'm going to hit a big one. And we're going to come on here. We're going to talk about it. And I'm going to say, if you don't play, John, just put one lineup in. Put that lineup in, $1, or whatever. All right, that's all I got for now. Until week 3, Cameron will be coming on with Josh to do their lineup for the Sunday games. I've been wanting to do this, so I'm going to do my personal lineup every Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, until I hit one. One day I will. I mean, we give good advice too, because I had Hopkins and I had Thielen. I liked Thielen all week long, then I changed him. So maybe you'll hear something I say and then you'll play that player. All right, that's it, man. Appreciate you watching. Till next time, keep hope alive.